The 31 problems of a struggling trader. Once again, guys, I'm back today, sitting here on the couch. I will be providing you guys with a lot of valuable information. I've taken the time to simply write down the 31 problems of a struggling trader. It will be me once again ranting for about 30 minutes to maybe an hour, with hopefully no cuts, no edits or whatsoever, just raw content, as raw as possible, where I will be talking and discussing these struggles that every single trader is running into on a daily basis or has been running into in the past on his journey to profitability. But probably if you are watching this video, and this might trigger some people, you're not profitable, because otherwise why would you even click on this video, right? And I'm doing this to trigger you guys, right? Why? Because I need you guys to wake up and realize that you're not going to turn profitable overnight. And these struggles, these will be struggles that every single trader has been running into. And let's dive into it with struggle number 1, which is a very common struggle, which is overtrading. And especially as a beginning trader, but even when you're a more experienced trader, every single trader is running into this issue. Why? Because trading is something that we can compare to, for example, a gambling addiction. Why? Because if you enter a trade, your body and brain get a certain strong dopamine spike, right? The dopamine spike that we feel, especially as a beginning trader, when we have no idea what we are doing, we are basically gambling. But by getting the dopamine spike, our body and our brain are getting addicted to that feeling. And it's a dopamine spike that is easily chaseable, right? Just like getting fast food or just like gambling, it's very accessible for a lot of people, right? Because we simply get behind our laptop or even behind our phone. We try to make a few charts, especially at the beginning. We have no idea what we're doing. We are probably not even using a stop loss. And the dopamine spike gets even bigger when we are over risking, regardless whether we hit stop loss or take profit. Just the feeling of entering and being in a trade is giving our body a certain feeling that is very addicting. Which is why our body is constantly feeling the urge to be in a trade, right? And as a trader, it's our job to be in control of our emotions and to not let our emotions get the better of us, and thus make sure that we do not actually overtrade. But still, this is a problem that needs to be discussed because everyone is running into it. Even I, nowadays, sometimes when I'm bored or when I finish up on all of my work, I still feel the urge to be in a trade because I know it's an easy way to chase some dopamine, right? But it is up to us to first of all recognize the fact that we are feeling that emotion and that it's not wrong to feel that emotion, because even the most experienced traders nowadays that are profitable every single month also feel that emotion because it's very, very much human. But it's up to us to recognize that emotion, and once we recognize it, it is up to us to control it and to not cave into that emotion and to stop fucking overtrading, because it is one of the main reasons why people hit so many unnecessary stop losses, right, and lose so much money unnecessarily. And it's such a shame, right? Which also brings me to the second problem and the second struggle, which is revenge trading. And this is obviously very much relatable to overtrading, but this has more so to do with a trader hitting a stop loss or a trader entering a wrong trade, and us as traders feeling the urge, and I still feel it nowadays, to earn back the loss that we made, that we took as soon as possible, right? Once again, very much human nature. And it all once again comes down to emotions and trying to control those emotions and recognizing the fact that those emotions exist. It's completely fine. It's completely natural. And every single trader is feeling the urge to revenge trading, is feeling the urge to overtrade. And that's not the problem. The problem is that people are not able to control that urge, and instead they are caving into that urge, and therefore they're not trading their A+ setups anymore. They're looking for setups that are probably not even there because they're either chasing a dopamine spike or they want to earn back the losses that they made as soon as possible. Once you stop overtrading, once you stop revenge trading, and once you start focusing just on your system and A+ setups, you will first off prevent yourself from hitting a lot of stops, and second off, over a longer period of time, it is 100% going to help you turn profitable in a faster way than you could have ever imagined by just simply stop overtrading and stop revenge trading. Struggle number 3, which is, and this is once again, basically the solution to overtrading and revenge trading, which is struggle number 3, the lack of discipline. And this is something, guys, I keep on explaining myself and I keep on repeating myself just to show you guys how important this actually is. But in order to ever turn profitable, the first thing that we have to sort out as a trader is our discipline. I will once again repeat myself. I can teach every single donkey how to make a proper technical analysis. I can teach every single donkey how to figure out a profitable trading system, right? And a lot of people can even figure out a profitable trading system themselves and backtest it and see that it's profitable over a longer period of time. But once they actually have to forward test it and apply it into real time, they turn out not to be profitable. Why? Due to a lack of discipline. And it's not the trader that needs to be the most disciplined version of themselves. At the end of the day, it's us as an individual that first has to be the most disciplined version before the trader that we are can become the most disciplined version as well. How do you expect yourself as a trader to be disciplined and to stick to your risk management no matter what, and to stick to your trading system no matter what, if you as an individual in your daily life are lacking discipline in a crazy way? That's not realistic. It's not even possible, because the trader that you are is basically a reflection of the person that you are. So make sure to sort out your fucking discipline for once and for all, and that way will 100% reflect back to your trading. I can definitely promise you that. I've seen it so many times, and I'm not saying that I'm the most disciplined person out there, right? But I know that in comparison to 99% of the population, I am way more disciplined. It's something that I can confidently say. But also I have periods in my life where my discipline is lacking in my real life. And every single time when I start taking a bit of rest, or where I start lacking a little bit of discipline and consistency, it always reflects back to my trading results. And that's actually crazy. Let's take, for example, the past 3 months. I think during May, June and July, I think May I lost about 2% on my account. June I gained again about 2.5% on my account, which was decent, but also not the way that I should perform. And July I lost a few percent on my account as well. During these months, I was enjoying summer, I was going on holiday a lot, I had a lot of parties, I was drinking a lot and all that kind of stuff, which basically means that my discipline and consistency and my routines and habits were lacking, and it was reflecting back to my trading. During this month of August, I challenged myself again. I started a mini challenge. I'm also documenting that challenge onto my YouTube channel, so you can rewatch all of the videos on what that challenge exactly contains. But it was basically meant to trigger myself again and challenge myself again and make sure that I get back to my routines and that I get back to the most disciplined version of myself that I can be. August, so far, very profitable month. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so, right? So make sure to sort out that fucking discipline if you ever want to be fucking profitable. Sorry for the swearing. Then struggle number 4, FOMO. This is something that also every single trader struggles with on a daily basis. Very easy way to fix this. Make sure to filter out the good from the bad on social media. Because the problem with FOMO is that on social media you have these traders, and I'm not going to name names, that are only showing you their wins. They're not showing you their losses, right? And by seeing all of these wins on your For You page, on your Twitter page and all of that, it's very much human nature to start feeling FOMO, right? By simply blocking out that noise either completely, but I still think that social media is a very, very good resource of educational content as well, especially by some accounts. So what you have to do is go through your following list and see what accounts are only showing you their wins, only showing you their positives, unfollow them all. block out the noise, focus on the accounts that are actually trying to provide educational content, that are also showing you their losses instead of just their wins, right? And are actually trying to help you. And try to limit your time on social media, especially during the times where you trade. So some people, for example, only trade the London session. In that case, make sure to not look at social media an hour before the London session and during the London session. Right? After the London session, it's fine to be on social media and see some wins of people, of trades that they took during the London session. Right? But you know that after the London session, you're not going to trade anymore because that's according to your rules. Right? So that way you block out a lot of noise and you prevent yourself from feeling a lot of FOMO, which is completely natural, completely very much human nature, but also very easy to stop yourself from feeling FOMO. Okay? Struggle number 5. Paralysis by analysis, right? Over-analyzing a chart is something that, as a trader, happens every now and then, right? Especially after a few losses, where you're starting to doubt your trading system, or during periods where you're figuring out what your trading system should look like, right? You start over-analyzing, and that way you get the struggle of paralysis by analysis. One of the core principles as a trader, and especially when it comes to your actual trading system, is that it's the art of trading to keep it as simple as possible. Once again, at the end of the day, it's not your trading system that is going to turn you profitable. It's your trading system in confluence, in combination with risk management, in combination with your discipline and trade management, that is going to turn you profitable over time, right? But by getting the most difficult and the most complicated trading system, you're not going to outperform other traders, right? The most profitable traders have a super simple trading system, right? Let's take, for example, one of the traders in our community, Flow, who first was a member and just following signals and education, and he has now developed his own trading strategy on the Nasdaq. It only takes him an hour a day. He simply marks out the opening range of the Nasdaq, so the opening range high, opening range low. He waits for a break below the range low or above the range high with a bullish or bearish displacements, and he longs or shorts the pullback. Super simple. Like, I've never seen an easier trading simple than his. And his win rate is only about 50%. But by getting a 2RR fixed on every trade, over a longer period of time, he's more than profitable. So perfect example of keeping it as simple as possible, and that way preventing yourself from the struggle that is called paralysis by analysis. The next one, which is also once again pretty much relatable to the previous struggle that I discussed, is self-doubt, right? It is very much human nature that even if you already have a profitable trading system, after a period of time you're going on a losing streak and you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to doubt your trading system. You're going to doubt the market. You're going to doubt a lot of things. And something that gives a lot of rest is knowing that as long as you stick to your risk management, you're going to preserve your capital. And if you are going to stick to that risk management and you also know that your trading system over a longer period of time has a high enough win rate in confluence with a high enough RR, and therefore over a long period of time is going to be profitable, either by the fact that you back tested it or preferably forward tested it, there's no reason why you should doubt yourself. Self-doubt obviously also comes from the fact of not being profitable yet, which is why most of you are watching this video right now. And it is completely natural to feel that emotion if you're not profitable yet. But just know that as long as you put in the hours, as long as you put in the effort, as long as you consume as much educational information as possible, and you actually consume it and process it, if you do all of this, you will turn profitable at some point without a single doubt in my mind. You just have to put in the work, put in the hours, put in the consistency, right? Become the most disciplined version of yourself. Find a strategy that works for you, and you will turn profitable over a longer period of time, right? So don't doubt yourself. It is possible for everyone. Even though that only about 5% of the traders turns profitable, it is profitable for every single one of you guys. I've seen the most stupid people, with all due respect, of course, turn profitable. The next one, which is risk management. Guys, I've talked about this one way too much already. Let me just quickly elaborate a little bit on what risk management actually is. Leverage, completely fucking irrelevant, right? If anyone once more says that leverage is relevant when it comes to risk management, you're not going to make it. Risk management, all that you have to know is the percentage of your balance or the amount of money of your total trading portfolio that you're putting at risk once you're entering a trade, which means that you have to know the amount of money or the percentage of your balance that you're going to lose once your stop loss gets hit. Now, this in confluence with a certain RR and a certain win rate will turn you profitable over time, right? So also risk management, don't make it too complicated. It is as easy as that. And make sure to set certain rules, fixed rules. So for example, you never ever want to risk more than 2% of your total trading portfolio at the same time. And that way, over a longer period of time, you are going to turn profitable as long as you stick to it. The next one, which is reflecting back to risk management, which is obviously a strategy as well and is part of your strategy, but is a lack of strategy. That's the next struggle. And this is something that everyone needs to figure out for themselves, because there's just so many different trading strategies out there. And there's not a golden nugget. I'm also not going to pretend that I have the golden nugget or that my trading system is the only system that works well. I think there's many systems out there that are working fine. And I think the people like ICT and those kind of weird ass people that say that their strategy is the only strategy that works and all of that, it's completely bullshit. And if you see people making those kind of statements, just know that they're talking absolute bollocks, okay? So figure out a strategy that works for you. It has so many different factors that you have to take into account, right? What time are you able to trade? Do you want to scalp? Do you want to intraday trade? Do you want to swing trade? Figure out something that works well for you. Back test it, forward test it, and by trial and error over a longer period of time, you will find a system that works well for you. You will find a strategy that works well for you. And a lack of strategy obviously will make sure that you're not profitable. So make sure to sort out a strategy. It will take time. It will take trial and error. It will cost you some money, because by just backtesting that strategy, you're not going to find a profitable one. But over a longer period of time, once again, if you put in the hours, if you put in the effort, if you put in the work, you will find a profitable strategy. And that's obviously the core and the basic of turning into a profitable trader. Struggle number, I don't know what amount, is ignoring market conditions. This is something that even myself sometimes is still struggling with. There are certain market conditions where you have to capitalize on as many opportunities as you see on the market, right? For example, when there's a lot of volume, a lot of volatility. But there's also certain market conditions. For example, when it comes down to crypto, during summer, we are always seeing low volume, low volatility, and a ranging environment, and a lot of chop, right? Which means that I cannot ignore the fact that over the past years, during the summer, my trading performance hasn't been as good as during the winter, right? It has to do with volume, volatility, and all that kind of stuff. And that's fine. But I cannot ignore this fact anymore. So this year, I turned down the amount of trades that I took during the summer for about 50% compared to last summer, right? And I still have to probably turn it down a little bit more next summer, because I simply noticed that during the summers, my system doesn't work as well as it does during the winter. And if I keep on ignoring that fact, that these market conditions aren't made for my system, I will lose a lot more money than I actually should have lost in the past, right? Same, for example, goes for news events. That works very, very well for my trading system, right? News events often make sure that I either get filled on a position or that I hit a take profit on the position. Because in my opinion, according to my system, news events only speed up the process of price action. But maybe for you during news events, your trading system, since you're maybe trading on a 1 minute time frame, isn't working well. Stop ignoring that market condition and rather capitalize on the fact that once you recognize that your system is not working well in that market condition, that you shouldn't be trading during news events. And that way you have to figure out for yourself what market conditions are the kind of conditions where you have to capitalize on a lot of opportunities that you see across the board, and what market conditions are the kind of conditions where you have to sit back, relax, and let the market do its thing without you getting involved too much. Which brings me to the next struggle, which is over-reliance on indicators. Guys, this one is super simple. I'm going to keep it very, very short. If you want to turn into a profitable trader, stop looking at indicators. Later on, when you figure out a strategy, you can start using certain indicators as confluence for your trading system, right? To give you a better edge, to give you a slightly higher win rate maybe. But when you start off, focus on the next three things, in my opinion: price action or market structure, whatever you want to call it, liquidity, and ranges. All that you need, in my opinion, to figure out a profitable trading system. So stop looking at indicators. The next struggle, which is too much focus on fundamentals. So this also brings me back to the struggle of ignoring market conditions. But too much focus on fundamentals, in my opinion, according to my trading system, makes you miss out on a lot of opportunities. Because what I think is that every single news event is already priced in, right? What I believe is that news events are only speeding up the process of price action and not necessarily changing it, right? So in my opinion, you should just trade what the charts are providing you with and not let news events or any fundamental event or that kind of stuff influence your decision making on the markets, right? If your trading system is providing you with a trade setup, in my opinion, you should take it no matter what news event is coming, no matter what news event has just happened, right? Focus on your trading system, because at the end of the day, as a trader, that's all that we can do, right? We can just rely on our trading system. And that's all that we can hold on to basically as well, okay? So don't focus on the fundamentals. Obviously, investing-wise, that's a whole different story, but that's a topic for another day. Then we are coming to a very interesting struggle. In the meantime, we are already recording for about 23 minutes. So I'm on schedule, I would say, which is over backtesting strategies. In my opinion, just backtesting strategies at all is just completely bollocks. I think that I've seen many people figure out strategies. And yes, at the beginning, when you figure out a strategy, you can backtest it. But in my opinion, forward testing and applying that strategy in real time is a completely different story. There's so many examples of people and strategies that have proven to be profitable when you start backtesting them, maybe for months, maybe for years even, right? Profitable every single month. And the moment that they start forward testing that strategy and the moment that they start applying that strategy in real time, at the end of the month, the results are negative. And they're like, how is this possible? Well, I can tell you why. Because there's so many things that come with trading every single day. There's so much noise from the outside, right? Like news events, like FOMO, right? Because of social media and that kind of stuff, that are influencing or going to influence your decision making if you're not the individual and the person yet that deserves to be profitable, right? In order to block out all of that noise, for example, and to control that FOMO, to control that urge of wanting to overtrade or revenge trade. Once again, that comes back to the fact that you first have to be the most disciplined version in order to be able to control those emotions, to block out all of that noise, and to just focus on your trading system. And when you're backtesting, that is obviously all very, very simple, right? Because there is no noise. There is no social media that is influencing your bias for the day, right? There is no emotion of actual money involved, right? That is why, in my opinion, backtesting is not going to turn you profitable. This one is interesting as well, and it's trading too many assets. This also has to do with bias and then certain assets being correlated to each other or inversely correlated to each other. Let's say, for example, you're trading euro, but you're also trading crypto. We know that if euro is bullish, that means that DXY is bearish. We know that if DXY is bearish, that usually has a bullish effect on the stock market and on crypto, which are correlated. Let's say you're trading euro and you're trading Bitcoin, right? And you start off your day with your analysis on euro. And your analysis is strongly pointing towards more downside for the day and week on euro. Then you start analyzing Bitcoin. How do you think it's going to affect your analysis on Bitcoin? Obviously, it's going to give you a slightly more bullish edge because you already know euro is correlated to DXY. DXY is inversely correlated to the stock market. The stock market is strongly correlated to Bitcoin. So if euro is bullish, Bitcoin should be bullish. But that might actually not be the case. So that is why I would advise you guys to focus on one asset. And when you're trading, for example, euro, it's fine to also trade GBP, right? Or maybe euro against GBP. When you trade crypto, it's fine to trade Ethereum and altcoins, right? Because they are strongly correlated and they are basically the same asset in my opinion. But try not to trade euro and the stock market and crypto all simultaneously because it will give you a lot of trouble. Okay, which brings me to once again the next struggle. I still have no idea at what number of struggle we are at. It's not choosing the right trading platform. This sounds so simple, but especially when you start trading with bigger capital or when you're trying to get into prop firms and bigger capital that way, it should not be underestimated how important it is to choose the right platform when it comes down to fees, slippage, spreads, all that kind of stuff. It might not seem like it has a big influence, but once you start trading with bigger capital, it does actually matter what platform you use, right? So for example, I'll give you guys a quick little example of something that has happened to me a few months ago. I was trading on MEXC for a bit of time because Bybit wasn't allowed anymore in the Netherlands. And I was like, okay, let me just quickly switch to the most obvious other perpetual exchange, which is MEXC. And because the trading conditions there were just shit for people with bigger capital, and I was trading with bigger capital at that time. And once again, as I always say, I'm not going to name exact numbers. I was in a trade with quite a tight stop loss, and there was a lot of volatility that occurred on the market. And the price quickly pushed towards my stop loss. But because there was so much volume and volatility entering the market at the exact same time, my stop loss wasn't triggered. I was actually outside to the gym, and I came back home, and I was like, okay, my stop loss is triggered. Let's say, for example, that stop loss that got triggered should have lost me $1,000, right? I'm not going to name exact numbers, but let's say it should have lost me $1,000. But because I was trading with bigger capital, my stop loss didn't get triggered, and instead it made me lose, let me recalculate this, it made me lose $6,000 more than I should have. Did I ever get back that money from that exchange? No. I've left the exchange and I'm never going to look back. Okay, I'm never going to trade perpetuals there anymore. Very bad advertisement from MEXC, but get your shit sorted, okay? And that way, it's a beautiful example of something that has happened to me that never ever would have happened on Bybit or Binance or any kind of other reliable exchange. And it's the exact same with prop firms, dealing with payout denials and all that kind of stuff. For crypto exchanges, I recommend Bybit. I recommend Woo Exchange. Both of the links can be found in the description down below. And for prop firm, there's only one prop firm that I recommend, which is Bright Funded. We also have a 20% discount code, can also be found in the description down below. On the prop firm, you can trade both crypto and Forex as well with the best spreads, best conditions, no payout denials, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so make sure to sort out your platform that you trade on because it can give you massive trouble. Little to no knowledge about trading taxes is the next struggle. Also, this one is for a later stage in your trading career, the stage where you turn profitable, the stage where you start trading with bigger capital and all that kind of stuff. But it is something that is not talked about enough, and it is something that you should not underestimate, guys, because it can give you a lot of trouble. It can give you big fines in certain countries, for example, over here in the Netherlands. And I can also not discuss this topic too much because it varies for every single country, right? And every single state. So This is something that you'll have to figure out yourself. But it is something that as soon as you turn profitable, you have to do research on, right? Find an accountant. Find someone that has all of the knowledge about taxes in your country. And make sure to sort it out as soon as possible before you receive your first payout, before you start earning a lot of money on your trading account, okay? Let me take a sip of my coffee. It's probably cold by now, but I still need the caffeine to continue with this. Actually pretty good. Actually pretty nice. The next struggle, which is the wrong interpretation of news trading. Kind of already discussed this struggle. In my opinion, we'll say it once more before I continue to the next struggle. News trading doesn't change the price action. All that news events are doing is speed up the process of price action. Print it into your brain. Remember it for the rest of your trading career. The next one, and this is a struggle that I think many people that are watching right now are running into, which is the lack of time. But Jip, I have a full-time job. But Jip, I have a part-time job. I have kids. I have hobbies that I want to spend money on. I have all of these things that I want to do in life that are preventing me from being a profitable trader, or that are preventing me from having enough capital to live off of trading, even though that my system is profitable. And all that I can say is that if there's a will, there is a way. And in order to make it, and that's the thing with everything in life, not just with trading, if you want to make it, there are certain things that indeed you have to sacrifice to reach your goals. It is very, very simple, right? There's always a way. If you have a full-time job, there's enough time in the day. A full-time job takes about 8 hours of the day, right? There's still 16 hours left. Let's say you sleep about 7 hours. There's still 9 hours left. Put in the work, put in the hours, put in the effort. If you really want something and you really put in the hours, put in the effort, put in the work and sacrifice things for that specific goal, there is no way, if you actually try your best, that the universe won't reward you for your effort, okay? I strongly believe that. So it should not be an excuse. Really, it shouldn't. The next one, and this one is interesting as well. The next struggle is isolation. And I'm not talking about the fact that you're sitting in your room alone behind your laptop, just putting in the hours, putting in the grind. No, I'm talking about the fact that you should surround yourself, and that can either be online in a community or in real life, with people that are like-minded and people that have the same goals and same objectives. For me, what has helped a lot at the beginning of my career was being in a community, an online community. I can sit here and tell you to join my community, which is very, very simple. I don't really care what kind of community you join. Make sure to join a community where it's okay to talk about losses, where it's okay to talk about struggles, where also the people that are already profitable also still discuss struggles and problems that they are running into, right? Because it will help with the process of turning those struggles into your strength, okay? And it will help to see other people run into the same problems and the same struggles every single day as well. Talk to them, right? Discuss the problems, discuss the struggles, and especially find solutions together. And that way, by being in a community and preventing yourself from isolation, it will 1,000% speed up the process of you turning into a profitable trader. The next struggle, we are slowly getting there, guys, which is impatience, okay? Reflects back to overtrading, revenge trading, discipline. It all comes down to one thing, which is patience. Master the art of patience, and it will help you to turn profitable. It is just as simple as that. And there's a few things that you can do to master the art of patience. I myself am a very impatient person with a lot of things in life, but for some reason, I still managed to become the most patient trader that a lot of people have seen. I've seen many people in the community always tell me, Jip, how have you become so patient? How is it possible that you are willing to wait for a setup for a week or 2 weeks? You want to know why? because I have a lot of self-confidence and I have a lot of confidence in my trading system that over a longer period of time, every single year, it is going to be net profitable. Whether it gains me 20% a year, 30%, 40, 50%, I don't care. I know that at the end of every year, my trading system nets me at least around 15 to 20%. At least. Well, with compound interest, that is going to be a heck amount of money in a few years from now. Okay? And that gives me a lot of ease and gives me a lot of patience, because I know that as long as I have the patience to wait for A+ setups over a longer period of time with a win rate of 60 to 70 to 80%, I will be profitable. Just as simple as that. Okay? So make sure to find a profitable trading system. Make sure to find your self-confidence. And it will offer you the patience to wait for A+ setups only. Let's see, guys. This one interesting as well. Poor work-life balance. And this reflects back to a lot of things, right? In order to get there, I think there's times where you need to have a poor work-life balance, right? In order to reach certain goals and certain objectives, there's times where you just have to be grinding your ass off and working 24/7. But there's definitely certain things that if you find the right balance with your routines and not just sitting behind your PC for 12 hours a day, but instead take certain breaks, go for a walk, go do your meditation, go do your breath work, go work out, that will help to give you a lot of clarity and will help with your decision making, right? The quality of your decision making, okay? So I'm not saying that your work-life balance should always be perfect. There's times where that's not going to be possible, right? And those are also the times where a lot of people quit, and the people that pursue their goals, even in those times where they're just working, just grinding, not going to any parties, not going to any events, not seeing their friends and family too much, but really focusing on the grind, they will get rewarded, right? But over time, you will find out that the work-life balance is actually very important for the quality of your decision-making, okay? So make sure to not get lost in the grind for too long and find the right balance at some point. The next one is, and this one is interesting, and this one is something, this one is a struggle that I'm still running into as well, which is overconfidence, right? You're going on a winning streak. You think that nothing can harm you. You think that everything in life is flourishing. There's this saying where they say, when you are at your highest, that's when the devil comes for you. Now let's reflect this a little bit back to trading. When you're on a winning streak, how can we, since we know that there's going to be a point where we're going to go on a losing streak again, or at least hit a stop loss, right? How can we make sure to preserve our capital, preserve our gains the best way possible when we are going on a winning streak, or when we are performing at our very, very best? Because we know that when we are at our highest, that's when the devil comes for us. There's a very simple solution to this problem. When you go on a winning streak, when you start feeling the emotion of overconfidence, and there's going to be times when you start feeling that emotion, right? When things go very well, we simply reduce our risk. So if usually we're risking 1% on the trade and we go on a massive winning streak, a lot of people would increase their risk. What we will do as smart traders is decrease our risk. And once you hit that stop loss and you decrease your risk, man, that's going to feel so, so good. It's something that I've done over the past year. Just knowing that when I was on winning streaks, knowing that when I was performing very, very well, I just decreased my risk. And once I did hit those stops, it couldn't bother me at all. It actually felt like a win, which is very interesting. Next one comes down to putting in the hours, putting in the work, putting in the effort. The next struggle is procrastination. This is something that I would say of myself, that a lot of things, and I'm running into a lot of struggles in life every single day. And one thing that I don't struggle with at all is procrastination. I'm the kind of guy that as soon as something needs to be fixed, I just fix my shit as soon as possible, right? As soon as I'm running into a problem or a struggle, I'm just sorting it out as soon as possible. And that's basically one of the qualities that I'm very, very pleased to have. And I have a lot of things that I need to improve. And there's a lot of qualities that I don't own. But I really do own the quality of never, ever procrastinating and just start. And once you start, you're going to run into so many problems, right? Whether you want to start a business, whether you want to start trading, right? Or whether you want to start testing a new strategy. Just fucking start, right? And when you start, you will run into so many issues, so many problems. But how good does it feel to solve those problems and solve those issues, right? Instead of just planning on doing something and figuring out an entire plan and just saying to yourself, I'm going to execute this plan tomorrow or next week. Why not execute that plan today, right? Instead of planning everything, just fucking start and see what issues you run into and make sure to sort it out. It's as simple as that. And it will feel so much better. And even if you plan everything, you're still going to run into those struggles and issues regardless, right? So why not just fucking start? Stop fucking procrastinating. It's as simple as that. This one is something that is so important, and it's unrealistic expectations. A struggle that everyone encounters, right? Very human. And also this is due to social media, right? Creating false expectations of investing, trading, and all that kind of stuff. I'm currently reading this book, which is called Richer, Wiser, and Happier. It's actually at my table right there, where they are following the richest investors this earth has ever known, right? So Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, all those kind of guys. And they're talking about a return in when certain funds and certain investors are performing very, very well. You know what's the average return? And they're very pleased with this return every single year. 12%, right? You know what's funny? Because of the false expectations that trading has created, everyone is expecting at least a 20% return a month. Start by simply aiming to be profitable over the course of a year. Start by aiming to gain 20% on your account for a year. I know that if you're trading with only $1,000 or only $500, or maybe even when you're trading with $10,000, that 20% doesn't seem like a lot. But if you know that you're profitable and that every single year you're going to gain at least 20%, start trading with an account of $1,000 and start doing that for 10 years and see what compound interest does for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And in the meantime, make sure to get some kind of cash flow to increase that account manually by adding that cash flow to your trading account every single month as well. And see how quickly that adds up over the course of a few years, right? It's as simple as that, but don't expect to either be profitable in a matter of a few months, because it's going to take you at least a year, in my opinion. And don't expect that once you are profitable, that you're going to gain 20% of your account every single month. Maybe there are going to be months where you gain 20% on your account. I think in January, February, or March, either one of those months, I gained 28.5% on my account, right? That's already my yearly target of 20%, for example. But there were also months where I lost 2%, right? And my expectation never ever is to gain a certain percent on my account. My expectation is to be profitable over the course of a year, which once again gives me a lot of rest, gives me a lot of patience, and helps me to control the kind of emotions like revenge trading, like overtrading. So stop setting false expectations for yourself. Also, stop listening to the people that are setting false expectations for you on social media, right? Focus first on finding a profitable trading system and actually turning profitable over the course of first a day, then a week, then a month, and then a year. And that way it will be so much easier to turn profitable, because it will help you to control the kind of emotions like revenge trading, overtrading, FOMO, that kind of thing. The next one is, and this also reflects back a little bit to isolation, is lack of support system, right? Once again, reflects back to the fact that I'm stating, find a fucking community. Surround yourself with like-minded people. It will help you on your journey to become a profitable trader. Without a single doubt in my mind, it is so, so important. And I'm not the kind of guy that will tell you to block out the friends or not see the friends anymore that are partying every single week. They're still your friends and you can still hang out with them. But also, on the other side, make sure to surround yourself as well with the like-minded people that have the same goals and objectives, right? Very important to find a good balance in that. The next one is ignoring feedback. This is a struggle that every trader runs into, right? Last sip of my coffee. We're getting there, guys. If you're still watching this video, let's give away a little something. Let's give away 3 months of free VIP access to our community. All that you have to do to participate in this giveaway is simply make sure to still watch the video up until this point. So congratulations, you're already participating. And make sure to comment down below VIP. And that way you participate in the giveaway and I will reveal the winner in 3 days from now. Now let's continue with the struggle that I was talking about, which is ignoring feedback, aka blaming news events for losses, right? AKA blaming the market for losses. This also reflects back to accountability. You are accountable for the trades that you take. You are accountable for the wins that you have. You are accountable for the losses that you take, right? It's not the market, it's not the news events. It is just you and your trading system that simply failed at that point in time, which is fine because there's no trading system that is 100% win rate. Once again, if you know that your trading system is going to be profitable over a longer period of time, you're never ever going to ignore that feedback. You're simply going to figure out what was wrong. And if you see that mistake occurring several times in your trading system, you might be able to even sharpen your edge, right? Because if you know what's going wrong several times, numerous amounts of times, you might be able to fix it. And that way, higher your win rate, higher your RR maybe, and higher the profits that you make. While instead of blaming the markets and news events and not trying to figure out what actually went wrong, you're going to take maybe a lot of unnecessary losses, right? See for yourself what you want to do with that. The next one, and we still have 5 or 6 more to go, which is an overload of information. Once again, also a lot of things that I'm discussing today are also reflecting back to social media. Filtering out the good from the bad also comes down to an overload of information, which is a struggle that I think, especially as a beginning trader, you might be overwhelmed by the amount of information that we have access to these days, right? And I think it's a blessing that we can simply go onto YouTube and Google and different communities and find so much educational content for free, right? But it can also turn into a struggle because there are so many sources of information that you don't know what to trust and so many different kind of strategies that you don't know what to trust. Make sure to pick a certain side, right? So for example, instead of focusing on Forex, crypto, and futures educators, you just focus on Forex educators, right? And then instead of focusing on both, and I'm now going to name 2 names that I'm not a fan of at all. Instead of focusing on both the education of ICT and Romeo, you're just going to focus on ICT, right? And then instead of focusing, I've never watched ICT, but instead of focusing on 5 different strategies that he offers, you're just going to focus on one strategy that he offers, right? Try to block out as much information as possible, as weird as that may sound, especially when you're a beginning trader. And by deep focusing on certain information, you're also going to process that kind of information a lot quicker and turn profitable a lot quicker. The next struggle, and this is one that also every single trader has struggled with. I almost know for sure that 100% of the people that are now watching this have struggled with this issue, which is refusing to journal, which is a struggle which is very common, very much understandable. but so important, especially when you're not profitable yet. And even if you're profitable, in order to make sure that you can sharpen your edge, in order to make sure that you can higher your win rate even more at some point, it is so important to journal. And guys, I know the feeling that when you are on a losing streak or when you hit a stop loss in general, you don't want to journal, right? You just want to be like, fuck it, I want to do something else, or maybe you want to revenge trade or overtrade, but there's a lot of things that you want to do at that point, but you do not want to journal. But in order to achieve your goals, there's going to be certain things that you have to do on a daily basis, and where you have to put in the consistency and the hours and the work that you actually do not like to do. But you have to do these kind of things to get to the nice parts, to reach your goals and objectives, right? If you at some point want to be able to travel the world and trade from your laptop from anywhere around the world, you cannot expect to get to that point without having to do things that you actually do not want to do, right? So every single time when your brain is telling you that you do not want to journal that losing trade, remember this point in time that you're watching this video, because you're still watching and we are already recording for 51 minutes. Get back to this moment in time, right? Remember what I said and journal that fucking losing trade. The next one, which is, and we only have 3 more to go, guys, so keep up with me. Let's talk about keeping up. Not keeping up with market trends. And this is also something that also has to do with ignoring market conditions, right? Let's say the market is strongly trending up. Don't try and trade against a trend, right? If the market is in a low volume environment, don't try to overtrade and capitalize on every opportunity that you see, but rather sit back a little bit, observe the market, because we are observers of the market at the end of the day, and only play the high probability setups out there, okay? So try not to ignore those market trends. The next one, struggle number 30, lack of long-term goals and small goals along the way. So instead of setting false expectations or too high of expectations for yourself, you still have to set certain goals, right? Because you still have to visualize those goals and know what you're working towards. But I think the problem with a lot of people is that they focus on the bigger goals, right? So for example, let's say the goal is to gain 30% on your account for the year, right? That's the big goal. And the issue is, in my opinion, is the same with entrepreneurship and that kind of stuff, is that people focus just on that bigger goal, but instead they should actually be focusing on the smaller goals that are going to help them towards the bigger goal, right? So what are the goals and what are the things that I have to do every single day, every single week, every single month in order to reach that bigger goal? Those are actually the kind of goals that you have to write down, or the kind of to-do things that you have to write down and that you have to check every single day, right? And that you have to focus on every single day in order to reach that bigger goal. Every single year when I start my year, I write down my goals for the year. I write down about 5 or 6 goals for the year, right? That piece of paper, I fold it and I put it away in my desk, and I haven't looked at it since the beginning of the year, right? I don't even know the specifics of those goals anymore, the exact numbers. But what I do know is that every single day on my phone, I have a to-do list over here where I have to check mark about, well, it depends obviously on the day, 20 to 30 things every single day, right? And there are certain things on this to-do list that never go away, and that I have to recheck every single day, because I know that if I want to reach that bigger goal, I have to achieve these smaller goals every single day first. The last, struggle as a trader, neglecting personal growth. If you want to become the trader that you want to become, first make sure that you become the individual that deserves to become the trader that you want to become. Remember this quote to wrap up this video. Write down this quote, because if you don't become the individual that you have to become, if you don't become the individual that deserves to become the trader that you want to become, you're never going to become the trader that you want to become. Hey! Finito.